Johnny Cage works well with a lot of other cameos in Mortal Kombat 1, but I think Kung Lao may be his best. In this guide, I will go over how to use the Kung Lao cameo with Johnny Cage for pressure, combos, and setups. Please remember to like and subscribe to support the channel, it really helps me out. Now let's get into this. Let's get started by going over the Kameo Moves. So, Kung Lao's cameo has his low hat. This is the main star of the show. This is used for combos, zoning, and a neutral tool. Setups for armor breaking and building hype, all kinds of things. This is going to be back in your cameo assist button. So while this is a low projectile, you can also hold it. Now it uses additional cameo meter, but being able to hold it is very powerful. We'll get into that later. He also has his spin. Now Kung Lao's spin can be used for meterless combos. Just like that. And it is also an invincible reversal. So you can use that if an opponent's string has a gap or a wake up, something of the sort. This is done by pressing forward and the cameo button. Pretty simple. Not too many uses for it besides combos and, you know, a free wake up. But other than that, he has his teleport as well. Now this I don't find too useful. Sure, it can be pretty good on a projectile read, but that's about it. There's not really any setups that I've found yet or that people are using. However, there are two versions of teleport. So if you just press the cameo button, you teleport to the other side and you have to land before you can hit a button. Now if you hold the cameo button, you teleport and you're left airborne, which means you can do a jumping attack. Right? So this can be used to start combos. Like I said, there aren't many situations, but you might do something on block that's unsafe and then teleport and, you know, catch them if they try to counter poke a bit late or something of that sort. But other than that, it's not really useful aside from a, you know, like a hard projectile read. Because you can do it in the air. So like, you know, if Ashura wants to do her projectile thingy. Hold on, I don't know the input for it. I think it's down forward one. Yeah, so, you know, if Ashura wants to do that, you know, and you read it, you know, maybe you want a whole combo on it, something of the sort there, but it's really just, it's a utility tool, you have it, it's not really too important. So now that we've gone over the cameo's attacks, let's jump into the general game plan with Kung Lao assist. Okay, the game plan surrounding Johnny Cage with the Kung Lao assist. Kung Lao assist offers some utility with other moves, but the main focus is around the low hat. The reason this is so strong and why we saw so much of it at ECT despite pre-patch Cyrax is because it helps Johnny control the pace of the match. In some matchups, he either gets zoned out by a character like Reiko, or the opposing character has much longer reach than him, such as Ashura with her back 2. Which makes it hard to approach the character, because Johnny Cage is, while he does have one of the fastest wave dashes, he is a bit stubby, so, you know, competing with a character who has moves that reach this long, this low hat really helps. So the low hat covers this by serving as a check to projectiles, and you can also hold the low hat to cover your approach inward. Because if they get hit by it, you get a full combo. This also allows you to shadow kick in safely and have that cover you. So, you know, you can set this up, shadow kick, and then if they try to press, you know, you get a full combo on them. So the hat also is really good for baiting jump attacks. Because usually when you throw this down, the opponent will scramble in neutral, and they'll try to jump at you, just like this. And once you obtain the life lead with Johnny, you can use this as a projectile. You can use it as a zoning tool to force mistakes from your opponent. Right? So let's say, you know, I got in first, got a combo as Johnny. I know that she can't outzone me from full screen, so I have to make her come to me by throwing hats and just really baiting mistakes from the Ashura player. This covers a lot of things in a lot of matchups, actually. So that basically covers the game plan of how we're going to be using the low hat in this scenario, and just the general overall game plan of Kung Lao. I don't really recommend using his spin for combos unless you don't have the meter, simply because, you know, low hat is such a good utility and it comes back pretty fast, whereas if you use the spin, it comes back a bit slower. So most of your utility will be coming from low hat, at least with Johnny and Kung Lao. But yeah, let's jump on to the next section, which will be using the low hat for pressure. We went over using Kung Lao's low hat as a tool to cover your approach. So now we'll talk about using low hat as a pressure tool. Low hat after a string or point blank is +2 on block. This makes it an insanely good stagger tool, especially for Johnny Cage. This sets up a simple mind game. Either the opponent tries to press, and you check them with your 6-frame down 1, or they respect it, and you get to continue your staggering or throw them. Alternatively, armor is an option, but then that sets up an easy situation where you could bait, block, and punish. So this is basically freestyle pressure with Johnny Cage. You can use this however you want. You know, a sequence may look like this. And if they're still blocking, you know, throw them, do something of the sort. If they try to poke back, they'll get hit. This frame traps off of certain strings. I'm going to set them to down 1 back. Obviously, they can armor any of these gaps with the hat, but that's the mind game. And that makes it extremely dangerous. So if we set the custom dummy to reversal down 1, you'll see there is a gap before the low hat. However, they can't poke out of it. And then, you know, you can easily frame trap another plus on block button to continue your pressure. You know, back 2-1 trades, they have to be ready for it. You know, that's where the mind game's coming, right? If you keep doing stuff off the same thing, you know, forward 3. Whoops, forward 3 low hat. Forward 2-3 low hat. They're going to be getting clipped, right? Now, some strings do not work with this, as you can see. If I do forward 3-2-1 into low hat, there's a big enough gap to actually poke, and you'll get full comboed if you just start throwing that out. So the main ones I use, though, are definitely, well, mainly forward 3-2, because that usually ends your turn as Johnny Cage, right? Because, you know, you're plus off of this, you're plus off of this, plus off this, whatever it may be. But usually doing this ends your turn, as you can't press after. So having a tool like that's really powerful. As you can see, low hat, I could down 1 check them every time, because it's +2 on block. Whoops, mistiming it. So once you condition your opponent, right? So once you condition them to block the low hat, and then you down 1 them after, then you really get to open up your creativity. Because, you know, they're going to be scared. They're going to be blocking, waiting for the down 1. Right? Then after low hat, if you just do forward 2-3 low hat and they don't do anything, right? If we turn the reversal off, if they don't do anything, then you get to just keep pressuring and then loop into the same situation because they're so scared to poke, right? And then obviously that opens up for throws after the hat, whatever it may be. You know, you could go for another forward 3. You could check them with down 1 if you think they're going to poke or something. You could keep staggering. You can go for a mix-up. You know, 2-1-4 low hat, 2-1, 1-1, forward 3, throw. You basically freestyle your pressure because the threat of Lao hat is always there. And being +2 in this game is super important, and you can check your opponent. So then, like I said, as soon as you start down 1-ing them and they stop pressing, that's where the real mind games open up with Johnny Cage, because he's already a very powerful character without the assistance of this Kung Lao low hat, and you can really do whatever you want on block once you get their respect. So his freestyle pressure, I mean, you could do forward 1-2 into low hat, 1-1, forward 3, 2-1 low hat, throw. Whatever you think will work, and you got to feel out your opponent, making Johnny Cage absolutely deadly in rushdown with this assist. Like I said, they got always armor out, but then that becomes the mind game, right? You can always parry, you can always block and just punish. It's as simple as that. Alright, let's move on to some setups with Kung Lao's low hat. So low hat has the ability to break a lot of armor in this game on a read and off of certain setups. It can be used to set up hard to block situations, and can be used to stop the opponent from punishing you for building hype. So a lot of things that I see in matches are sometimes people will end their combo early to set up the hat. Just like that. And by setting up the hat with forward 1-2, you're essentially making the opponent come off of a bar a meter right here to break it. Like right there, I just messed up the input. But all you got to do is end your combo with forward 1-2 and hold the low hat, and you can forward 3 it right away. Or, you know, depending on the character, if it's standing up armor, you could just do 2-1-2, whatever it may be, and get a full combo. So basically, in the corner or mid-screen, if you want to set up an armor break with low hat, you're going to end an airborne juggle combo forward 1 with forward 1-2. And then you're going to set the hat up like that. Obviously, the setup doesn't work on Ashra and Havoc because they're specific armor properties, but it is still a really good setup nonetheless. That's pretty simple to do, and you're making the opponent waste a bar. However, in the corner after Nut Punch, it's plus enough to set up a hat and be safe against all armor in the game. But if the character has slower armor, you can actually armor break. So after you end a combo with Nut Punch, you're going to set up the Kung Lao hat. And as you can see, I was able to block in time right there. After Nut Punch, set up a Kung Lao hat, right? The timing's a little bit tricky, so you're going to have to just figure it out. But as you can see, I'm able to block the armor in time. So that means characters with slow armor like Reptile, you can actually just break their armor after Nut Punch ender in the corner. It's very powerful, because then you can set up situations if your opponent likes to just keep waking up armor, right? You know, end the combo Nut Punch, bop, do the same thing over again. I missed the input there, I meant to do forward 3-2, but it's essentially the same thing. You could loop that in the corner against slower armor, and like I said, if you react to the armor, and maybe you can't get a button out in time because it's fast, like Johnny Cage's or like Shao Kahn's, you still have the hat down and you can block. So it's completely safe in that regard. And it obviously beats wake up buttons. You know, if they're knocked down and they try to wake up with, like, you know, down 1 or whatever, they're going to get full comboed by the hat into forward 3. So it's extremely powerful. Mid-screen, if you end your combos with Shadow Kick as well, you can set up hat and be safe against armor. But what this is really good for is, you know, you're resetting neutral and you have the hat down for pressure, right? And this is where I really want to get into the setups part of the guide, because when you have this hat on the ground, the opponent is fearful of any of your overheads. Because while this is a low, Johnny has a lot of overheads that he can do. And get a full combo off of a hard to blockable into safe hat setup. So I'm going to turn off the wake up just because you guys saw the demonstration of it being safe off of all the setups. So using the low hat, Johnny Cage has a lot of ways to combo into it. So actually, if you shimmy your opponent, you can just combo them off of the hat normally. So, you know, they're scared of a throw, boom, you hit them with the forward 3. Throw down low hat, he has forward 4. That you can make that a very hard to blockable. Right? Because you just have to be careful. If you hit the low and the overhead on the exact same frame, they're actually able to block it. So you always want to make sure you either hit the low hat slightly first or the overhead slightly first. And look, you set up the same situation, throw down the low hat, they got to deal with it. However, forward 4, I prefer doing like forward 3-4 to cover it, just because then you get the mid if they try to like poke you, right? Because they see the hat coming, they try to poke you, they try to do something in panic, you'll smack them for a combo. But then on block, right? That's a crazy hard to blockable if you time it right. Right? Low overhead. Overhead low. It's insane the potential that you could do with this hat. Same thing, you know, you could do 2-1-2. Make that a really hard to block situation, and you could time it so the low hat hits slightly after too. But the biggest thing is actually let's set him to armor again. So he's gonna reversal armor anywhere there's a gap. So normally there is a gap in this string with Johnny Cage. 2-1-4-4. You can armor through the last hit. However, if you time this correctly, whoops, a little bit early. There is a way to time it so that the overhead does not get armored. It's just a little bit tricky. Just like that. And you could actually cover gaps in the string so they would get hit for trying to armor there, whatever it may be. So you can cover your gaps with Kung Lao hat. You can create very hard to block situations with overhead lows. You can get combos off of stray hits with low hat. You can anti-air with people jumping in with low hat. You know, you just hold it, wait for them to jump at you, and then anti-air them, whatever it may be. It's a very powerful tool. There's a lot of setup potential with the safe, you know, the safe setup versus armor, the armor breaking, all kinds of things like that. So it's very, very good for that. You can also throw this down. Now, this isn't guaranteed or anything, but I've done this in neutral a lot. You throw down the hat, they're scared, and then you just build a hype bar really quick. I think that's very powerful to do to people. As well as using this as a way to get in. Throw down hat, shadow kick in, and then cover it with the hat. Because let's say, for example, you know, they down 1 rather than armor. Because I don't think people are really going to be armoring that on, you know, reaction to it. But they might, and that's always something you got to be wary about. It's a risk. But, you know, you throw down hat, shadow kick, then it's your turn again. Throw out YOLO shadow kick, right? Throw out a YOLO armored shadow kick. Then it's your turn for pressure again. Very good stuff. Really annoying to deal with, right? Because naturally you want to try to punish Johnny Cage for, you know, doing something stupid like trying to shadow kick in, but you can't in that situation. I think that pretty much covers all of the notable setups. Let's move on to his combos, because the Kung Lao spin actually does allow for a lot of combo potential. It's combo time. God, that was bad. Okay, so Kung Lao allows Johnny Cage to combo meterlessly into hype, which is what I think makes this cameo just amazing compared to the other ones. Like, you know, Striker and Goro and Motaro, Sub-Zero allow for Johnny Cage to all do different things, but just being able to control the pace of the match with the neutral using Lao hat and being able to combo into hype is just extremely powerful. Like, you could do any meterless launcher into spin. Let me turn off blocking really quick. For example, just like this. And I think being able to do that mid-screen or in the corner is insanely powerful. As well as, you know, if you don't have meter, you know, to do your EX uppercut, you know, Kung Lao works just the same. So, I'm going to show some sample combos, and that will be the end of the guide. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe if this helped you. Share it with a friend. I'm trying to help the community get better. And, you know, let me know in the comments who you want to see next with Johnny Cage. If you guys want to see Stryker, do you want to see Sub-Zero? Let me know. Thanks for watching.